You are on the rant couch where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Joey Kostelic, who says, rant about all the mass shootings that have been happening recently. Why you think they've seemingly been happening so often lately, and what, if anything, should be done to help the situation. Well, depending on if you're going by the official definition of mass shootings, which is any shooting in which at least, like, I think 4 people are injured, they happen fucking constantly, and they have been for a long time. It's been, I mean, again, it depends on your definition. I think the ones that get reported on more are more of the ideologically driven ones, or the ones that just have way more than 4 people get hurt, or that are just really traumatic and sudden, that happen in places you don't expect. Like if we're counting mass killings because of like gang violence, then there's a lot more, But like we only really pay attention when it's happening outside of the places that we expect it to happen. So, I think I think the thing that's making it worse is the fact that it keeps getting talked about and sensationalized so much. It's that we're constantly, it becomes a TV show, because that's what the news is. The news since the 90s has been a television program oriented around ratings. The reason that, for instance, Donald Trump was able to get elected is that he pulled such good ratings to all of his anything he would do, that they would talk about him constantly. It came to a point where the news media cycle was just the Trump report, where it's all anybody talked about was Trump, because if something pulls ratings, then they are incentivized to report on it more. And mass shootings pull ratings. People are shocked, they're stunned by the event, they want to know more information, they want to know who died, who's safe, they want to know who the killer is he going to be brought to justice, is he dead, what were his reasons, why would he do this? And these killers have manifestos a lot of the time, and so people want to know what was he thinking, partially to say, who can we pin this on, like what ideology can we blame for this mass shooting. Also there's the political angle of it, where every time one happens, a gun control argument is immediately in everybody's mind, and that's also, gets people talking, gets again, it creates a frenzy. So the mass shootings are successful at getting what they want, which is attention. It's a way to kill yourself and get everybody's eyes on you. You could silently go and not have anybody pay attention and not have a message to send. But if you're somebody who wants everybody to pay attention to the fact that you thought that the world was so fucked that you couldn't live in it anymore, and you want everybody to know why you think the world is so fucked, you go out and you kill a bunch of people, and you can guarantee that you're going to get talked about, and that your manifesto will be disseminated, and people will pay attention to you for a while. And I just think that the best way to make it stop is to stop paying so much fucking attention to it. And I know that's hard to do, because it's not like I'm telling you don't care if a bunch of people get shot, But there was a poem, a lyric in a song by Serart, which is Serge Tankian from System of a Down, and a friend of his. There's a part where he talks about this need in culture to shift the focus from the victim to the invictor, which I don't think is an actual word, but I've always stuck with that line. That, like, yeah, we put so much focus on who did it and how it was done and why. The only that stuff doesn't really matter, because we're not. If you want to prevent a mass shooting, you gotta take the power away from it. You gotta make it not seem like something enticing to do. People have had access to the means to mass murder for a very long time. If it seems like it's accelerating, it means either that there's more reporting being done on it, so maybe it was always happening at this rate and we just didn't know, or it means that it's being accelerated recently, and there's nothing that changed about the means of mass murder. There's nothing that's changed about human nature. It's just the way that we talk about it that's changed. It's just the constant coverage, the incessant description of it that has, and we all know that any crime inspires copycat crimes. People are unoriginal. People are waiting for answers. People want to be given the reason, the means to do the thing they want to do. It's just like I was reading an article because a mass shooting happened just like yesterday or something in Texas using an AR-15, and I saw that before I even heard about the shooting, I saw AR-15 trending on Twitter. So I went to the Twitter hashtag, and I was curious because everybody's talking about AR-15s, and I saw somebody making like a meme tweet or like a image macro that they wanted to be shared around that was explaining the dangers of this weapon, and everything it said was clearly false. I don't even know about the gun, and I was reading it, and I was like, well, this can't be true. This can't be what it means. And, like, I read the responses, and they're all like, yeah, this is not, like, for instance, it said, like, AR-15 stands for automatic rifle that fires 15 rounds a second, and it's like, that's not even what it stands for at all, So I went to go do research on it, and it was interesting because the articles were saying that the AR-15 is a very popular gun because it's very modular, it's customizable, it's lightweight, it's easy to come by, but it's not the most effective gun for a mass killing. There are much better, much deadlier, much guns better suited to the practice. And so the people who have studied the guns and the mass killings have said that they think the reason it's so popular is that other mass killers have used it. You hear about it as the gun that was used in the mass killing. So if they're reporting, oh, this guy went into a school with an AR-15, he went down this hallway first, turned left here and shot these people, here's how he fucked up, here's, how it could have been done better, let's run down all the errors in his plan so that we can get it better next time, that is what is causing people to imitate it, to go, oh, 15, I bet I could get 40, but I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do it on the highway instead, or I'm going to do it this way. Ooh, let's see what I can, where can I go that I can get the most bodies, And some of it is just the mass shooting that happened here was like a disgruntled worker, assumably. I don't even know what his motivation was, because I don't want to know, and the police were pretty good about not releasing that information right up. They didn't say who the killer was. They didn't say why he did it initially. We just knew that he worked for the place. So, that he shot up. And it was a government building. So, yeah, it's probably safe to assume that we're talking about a mentally unstable person who reaches the end of their rope and thinks, I'm going to go out the way that sends a message, And I think it's great that they didn't release what that message was, at least initially, because it means that, we're not giving him any celebrity. Nobody's going to be inspired to do what he did. Even just the fact that, just because all we know about him is that he worked for the place, people will literally mentally write it off as disgruntled worker. Oh, it's just a single cell incident. Oh, it's just some guy. It's just some guy went crazy. He just went postal, Oh, there's no ideology behind it. There's no, reasoning. It's just a guy, the crazy guy went crazy at work, whatever, that we brush it off. Nobody's going to try to be that guy. Nobody's going to try to copy his, his manifesto or his methodology or anything like that. Or say, I could do better. So yeah, just less sensationalizing of it. I mean, this has been said 1,000 fucking times. Every single time that a mass shooting happens, the cultural studies people, the anthropologists and shit are like, yeah, if you talk about this, it's going to cause imitation. We already know this happens with suicide. If you commit suicide, it's there's a 25% chance or something that you knew somebody who also committed suicide, because it's almost always a copycat thing. It's particularly in places like Greenland or I think Korea has a really high suicide rate as well. Places with high suicide rates, they have studied that almost always it's because they know somebody who's done it, and it they end up going, oh, well, that person killed themselves, I'm going to kill myself too, So, yeah. How do we reduce it? I would say talk about it less. Don't sensationalize it. Don't turn every single time it happens into a big argument, because the fact of the matter is that these are fucking crazy people, and crazy people are going to do crazy shit. and they're going to do it by whatever means they can. I believe there was a mass murder by stabbing in like Japan recently. Um, it's just, if somebody thinks that this is a way to get what they want, then that's what they're going to do. And, we need to not even suggest to them that that is a possibility, or suggest to them that if they do it, they're going to get all this attention, they're going to get all this coverage, they're going to spark this debate, they're going to have some kind of political ramification of what they do. No, just fucking, help the families as best you can. Don't even talk about the shooter. Just talk about the victims and how they can be helped. Once the victims have gotten as much help as they can, that's when the story is over.